Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and welcome to Collector's Guide. Japanese culture is a fusion of native Japanese, Chinese, Korean, American, maybe even a little bit of Swiss. But today, we have a different kind of Japanese fusion. It's a combination of wood and steel, Grand Seiko White Birch. This is the Collector's Take. A quick history lesson. The Grand Seiko brand was born in 1960. Fast forward to 1967, and it's actually Seiko that wins the race to market Japan's first Hi-Beat movement in the Lord Marvel. A year later, enter the grander Grand Seiko 61GS with caliber 6145. The modern 9S mechanical launches in 1998, and the Hi-Beat goes back to the future with the 9S85 in 2010. In 2021, we get today's White Birch, the SLGH005, a modern Hi-Beat movement with extended power reserve and the sexy new Evolution 9 shape. This watch is dial dominant. Normally, it's not good to have wood in public, but in this case, we'll make an exception. The White Birch dial is inspired by the Shirakaba birch that exists outside of the Shizukuishi studio in Iwate prefecture, where this watch is made. And it is a lovely thing, depending on how you count the steps involved in its production. It takes up to 20 individual steps in the process of creating the White Birch watch face. Externally, we have a 40mm watch that's fairly thin at just under 12mm. So I would describe this as a handsome all-arounder, neither sports watch nor dress watch, but a judicious blend of both. The case features creases and curves, satin and polish, and you can see that polish is the famed Zaratsu tin plate polish, originally of European origin on Zalitz machines, but the foremost practitioners today are at Seiko and Grand Seiko in Japan. This is true artisanal watchmaking, with the craft requiring up to 3 years to master. So with a handcrafted dial and a handcrafted case, this is very much a handcrafted watch. By the way, a little bit of clarification. This watch launched as part of the Heritage Collection. It was later moved to the new and cool Evolution 9 series. The more you know. The number one standout feature is the dial, but we spoke about its 20-step creation process. Let's talk about what's inside, beneath the dial. The 9SA5, launched in 2020 on the SLGH002, it is a total rethinking of the Grand Seiko Hi-Beat movement. Power reserve is now 80 hours. The watch has two mainspring barrels for more even torque release, so more power reserve, but also more consistent timekeeping. All this protected down to 100 meters in the case. The new dual impulse escapement is hugely sophisticated, being both direct and indirect impulse with tangential sliding contact. It's very similar in many ways to the Omega coaxial, with a lot of the same strengths, and this watch is accurate to +5, -3 seconds a day. It is a high beat, 36,000 vibrations per hour, 10 beats per second, like a Zenith El Primero. All new, we have the combination of a free-sprung balance, a full balance bridge, those for shock resistance, and an overcoil hairspring, Grand Seiko's first, allowing for concentric breathing in every position. Architecture and finish of this movement is hugely superior to the old 9S85. By the way, it's also a bigger movement, so it better fills the display case back. And yes, we now have an instantaneous date change, just like Rolex. Check out this boxed set. It's not big, but Dynamite comes in small packages. We have a gray and a Grand Seiko blue packaging box. Open it up, we have this wonderful piece of artisanal Japanese paper, much like what you'll find in Japanese art and architecture. Under that now we have a display box. It's bound in a sort of leatherette. Pop it open, there's felt inside and a little pillow on which we find the best part of the package, which is the watch itself. Under that there's a little bolstered folio, inside of which we have a explanatory note explaining how your watch should be worn and the fact that when it's actually on the wrist, it's going to be +8, -1 second per day. We have a little card that opens up to reveal that the watches now have 5-year warranties at Grand Seiko, and then there's a user's manual, which quite conveniently features English first. On page 6, all sorts of swell advice. Note, don't shock your watch and don't expose it to magnets. Plus, overhaul once every 3 to 4 years. A little bit unusual since the warranty is, after all, 5 years long. Page 11 also warns you not to wear the watch in a bath or sauna. That's good gouge in general, and advises that the 100-meter water resistance is fine for swimming and diving, just not with an air cylinder. Finally, there's a little piece of cardstock that opens up to reveal the warranty card itself, with the date of purchase, a QR code that can be used by your dealer, the serial number, the shop code, and of course the original dealer. Well, think 15 centimeter circumference, wrists, and up. Men or women, this is unisex sized in the modern era. Now, the watch also has strap tool holes, so I would love to keep my watch all Seiko, but maybe put it on one of the Seiko dive watch straps that's made of silicone for those who like it soft inside and a better fit. First, contrarians. If you're the kind of guy who prefers to write with a fountain pen, if you have contempt for Swiss-made watches, if you're that dude who rebadges your Acura NSX with Honda, guess what? This is your watch. Rolex burnouts. If you're at that part of your collecting journey where you've realized that Rolex is not the greatest watch in the world or the only watch in the world, Grand Seiko has a lot to offer, including a breath of fresh air. Value hunters. At $9,100, this is not a cheap watch, but pre-owned at about $6,800, you're getting true value with a ton of watch for the money. And Arbor Day enthusiasts, step forward, your watch has arrived. First, the Rolex Datejust 41. Obviously, there are some drawbacks here. There's a longer weight, there's brand stigma, and it's thief bait, but it does give you lume options not present on the Grand Seiko, including different dials and different metals, so you can configure this one your way. It's not hand-finished, but it has far superior resale. Pay your $8,050 to get it in steel, you can turn around and resell it for over $10,000. That is what I call a bargain in the long term. Or, if you want Omega, we have the Aquaterra 41 from the Seamaster family, which is only $5,900 new in steel with a bracelet. You've got a time zone hour hand that can be moved independently, the Techno Cool of the coaxial escapement, and a master chronometer certification. There are also tons of strap, metal, and dial options. We've got 150 meters of water resistance, and factory straps are available if you want to dress it down. It does have an uglier movement, it's thicker, and it has a shorter power reserve, but again, $5,900 new, even less used. Fun fact. Jidai Monogatari. Does the word Jidai ring any bells? Well, that translates from Japanese to English as era story. Era as in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Once again, Jidai. And there is another Skywalker, as well as another White Birch. The SLGH009, that is the spring drive version of the White Birch, and it costs the same $9,100. You get the awesome spring drive technology with the accuracy it entails, plus 120 hours of power reserve. It's also a less common watch. In Kill Bill Volume 1, Uma Thurman journeys to Japan in search of Japanese steel. For $9,100, she could have saved herself a trip to Okinawa. This steel is the real deal, and that is the collector's take.